Welcome back everybody, thanks again for joining me. Pocket Rocket Garage, another video on the classic Mini. I hope you're all well. I've had a little break from the Mini the last couple of weeks, been doing other jobs around the house, DIY and gardening. So yeah, it's been nice to have a break from it, but it's really time to get back on with the stage of the car that I have been putting off, which is the dreaded Oversills. Now, when I purchased the car, I knew that it had the Oversills because it had it on the MOT certificate, knowing they'd been put on just to get it through the MOT. Now, that's why people still use them, or used to. There's been a lot of chat about Oversills, and obviously I've been following other channels for a long time, and I know the subject has come up and has been covered regarding Oversills, and they did what they were meant to do. They were to get cars through MOTs and keep them on the road, really. So that's what they've been put on there for. But I need to get them off, check out the corrosion and rust, see what they've done to the car. Hopefully it's not too bad, but it is a Rover. You know, this is the rusty Rover, so I'm sure it's going to be a terrible mess inside the sills. Just before we get going with the video, as usual, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that's subscribed to the channel, and hope you're enjoying the content. Anyone that's new to the channel, if you like rust and more rust, then you're going to love the content today because there's going to be plenty of it. So let's get going today. Let's get on with the work. Let's go for it. So I've just made the first cut along the edge of the outer sill. Now I also made a second cut like a channel just so I can prise the outer sill open and take a quick sneak peek. I'm going to bring the camera in to show you what I found. This is unbelievable. Here's the cut I've made all the way along the outer sill, and then I made a second cut just below it, just here, so I can take a look inside and see what I'm going to deal with. Now the inside, inner sill, doesn't look too bad, to be honest, but I mean, you know, I'm not sure what I should be expecting because I haven't done this before. Now, where the two panels meet lower down and they're sandwiched together, that's obviously where the rot's going to start and the condensation's trapped between them. You can see here I've got some damage. And this is the surprise I found. This is brilliant. This looks like something out of Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom, the monkey brain scene. But it's in fact a huge amount of silicon sealant or tiger seal that's been pumped into the void where they hadn't quite met the two panels together. So that'll go in the bin. I'm going to carry on cutting now. The only problem I've got is I need to move the car body further across the panel, the pallet, so I can actually access the weld line to peel off the outer sill. So I'm going to see if I can shimmy the Mini on my own, and then I'll get back to it and show you where I'm at afterwards. That is the first dreaded Oversill removed. Now, I won't go on too much. I'll just grab the camera, bring you in, talk you through it. I'll show you what I've got to deal with, what's next. So I'll just grab the camera and we can have a quick look. Now you can see why I kept putting off doing the Oversills and the Innersills, because of the rust that I knew was sitting in here. Now, I'm not sure whether it's as bad as I was expecting or even worse, but there's a lot to do, so I've got my work cut out, literally. Now, you can see the seam weld here with all the filler on it. I've had a go just at this section here to see when it cleaned up, and yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I've got a few cut lines from the cutting disc. I just need to rectify those, and then I've got to make a decision on what panel or how I'm going to go about repairing this inner sill. Now, I've had a thought about what's next. So the plan of action is going to be to clean up all of the area as best as possible, get rid of all the old rust, the weld line that I can get rid of, and then I'll be making up some repair sections out of some mild steel to weld in. So firstly, I'm going to need some tools. So I'm going to use my grinder with a flap disc, and then also I'm going to use the drill with a wire wheel. Now let's get down there and start getting rid of as much rust as I can. Now the inner sill has cleaned up really well, but I've only gone halfway so far because the rest of it has got a lot of plating that I hadn't noticed that sits over the top of the inner sill. So that's another rust trap. Now that's a huge piece that they've put on over the top of the inner sill. I'll look at that in a little bit, but so far I thought I'd show you where I've got to. This is all cleaned up really nicely. This is a repair patch that I've made. As you can see, just push that through. So I've ended up with 2 big holes here and then a small hole on the Heelboard. And obviously I will have to make a return lip for the Heelboard once the new inner sill and outer sill is in place. Then that return lip can wrap around them. The nut for the top mount of the rear subframe is okay. I'm going to put some extra welds on that. The bottom one was really loose and moving around. I've removed that. I'm going to use a new nut and weld that in place. But it's cleaned up really well so far. Yeah, really happy. So I better get on with the rest of it. We're now at the stage where it's time to make some repair sections out of steel. You just saw me weld on a new nut to hold the subframe to the car, otherwise it would be dragging along the floor because the nut had come completely loose from the Heelboard. So I've got loads of leftover steel from all the other jobs I've done. I'm going to create some repair sections out of that. I'll show you them and then we'll get them tacked in place. After a lot of cutting and shaping, I've now made the 2 repair sections for these 2 holes. I'll just grab the first one. Okay, let's see if this holds in there. So that's the first one. It's come out pretty well. A bit of a fine tuning, and that'd be ready to weld in. And then this small piece here is actually for the inner part of the Heelboard. That way up. And once that's in place, I've then got to make an outer piece for the Heelboard, and then the return lip here. And then that'll be all done there, really. That's come out really well. So I'll just get these tacked in place and see how they look. I've just finished for the day, and I've put on a load of rust remover onto the fresh steel. Now I've obviously repaired half of the inner sill up to the halfway point. I've still got that to go, but it's taken a lot of work. I pushed on with the welding. I couldn't film everything, but I've let in all the fresh metal I showed you earlier. The repair sections, they're all in place, butt welded in. I've just got to a point where I've had to stop on the Heelboard area. Now you can see there's some gaps where the welding has been a problem. I've still got a few bits to finish off, some extra welds to then grind back. I've had a lot of problems with the welder. I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, all of the hard work is done. It's just a little bit of fettling, a few more welds here and there, grind those down and get some rust killer on it. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's come out, especially the return lip, ready for the outer seal to go behind that. And really, yeah, it looks way better than it did. It's completely solid, no holes. Oh yeah, I can just show you underneath here. You can see the return lip that I've joined. It's a little bit longer than the old one, but yeah, that's got a little bit of welding to do there. The slinger bracket has gone. Obviously, that is now solid. There's no rust there. That's the main thing. Once that's got a good amount of stone chip on it, it will look really nice. But the hard work is done with actually removing the rust and getting a nice solid base before we put on that. So there's no hidden nasties behind the stone chip. Yeah, really happy with it. I'll just show you now the problem I've got with the welder, just to finish on a positive. Let's finish the video on a positive. Here is the welding earth clamp that I've got, and it is, as you can see, it's quite embarrassing. This is ready for the bin. This is how I received it when I bought this welder second hand before I started to work on the car. I sort of knew that this could be causing some of my problems with welding in the last week or so, and yeah, I'm 99% positive that this is the problem, and I really hope it is. So I'm going to go about getting a new one, working out whether to extend this or replace the whole cable, and then I'm really hoping that it will speed things up with the welding and I can crack on and get this done a lot quicker. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm hoping the next video will be out even quicker than usual because I need to get more content out, and please consider subscribing to the channel if you can. It makes a huge difference. and it would be really great to see the channel getting even bigger. Thanks again for watching. Find me also on Instagram if you can. It's Pocket Rocket Garage, and I'll see you all on the next one.